in. All right, we're going to start with how to communicate for wealth. How to communicate for wealth. Why? Because you communicate all day long. You communicate with your children, with your parents, with your siblings, with your co-workers, with your boss, with your employees. You communicate all the time by email, by handwriting, by typing, by your body language, by your words. You communicate constantly all day long. You may think that you don't get paid for communicating, like I am actually a professional speaker, so I actually get paid to communicate, but you may think that you don't. But the truth is that you do, if you're a realtor, you have to communicate your ideas to get the seller to sell and the buyer to buy. If you're a baker, you need to sell your little cinnamon buns. Whatever it is, you actually need to communicate for wealth. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about whether it's profitable to communicate. I earn about $5 million a year, total revenue, not profit, $5 million a year from speaking. Is that a lot or a little? A lot. I have some expenses against that. Gasoline, parking. It's not all profit. Some of it gets eaten up. So, I mean, luckily there's free parking here, so that's, that helped me out a bit. So put up your hand if you'd like to earn $5 million a year. Okay, good. And let's talk not per year, but per speech. The best I ever did was coincidentally right here in my hometown of Toronto. It was March 31st, 2007. I was giving a speech in front of 17,000 people. It was the Donald Trump Learning Annex Expo. Put up your hand if you remember the expos, okay. And Tony Robbins was the first speaker on Saturday morning, and Donald Trump was the last speaker on Sunday night. So Tony's job was to get you there, and Donald's job was to keep you there. So they knew that everybody in the room was going to stay for Donald Trump. And they knew that nobody is going to be anywhere in the 2 hours before Donald Trump speaks, but in the giant hall holding their seat waiting for Trump. Because if they don't sit there 2 hours in advance, they're going to sit way at the back. The back row was 2 football fields away from the stage. 2 football fields. And if you're going to go there for Trump, you might as well sit up close. So for 2 hours, they were just going to sit there. And the promoter of the event said, why don't we have a speaker right before Trump selling something to all those 17,000 people sitting there doing nothing? And they said, who's the best speaker we got? So I offered the monthly mentor program at $1,000 to 17,000 people, and over 1,000 people bought. I made $1 million in 90 minutes. The promoter was happy. I was happy. The 1,000 people who bought were happy. But Trump was pissed. And the reason is, he likes to be the star. And he was supposed to go on at a certain time. There was supposed to be a 20-minute break between my ending and his starting. But the sales took 45 minutes. 45 minutes to process 1,000 people paying $1,000 each. Yeah, welcome. Welcome, Mr. Upgrade. All right, Randy, let's give a hand. So instead of going on 20 minutes after me, he didn't get on until 45 minutes after me. And the promoter, they had these girls called Sunshine Girls. Pretty girls that weren't wearing that much. And the promoter gathered all of them up and said, go entertain Trump. So they all went up to, oh, Mr. Trump, I'm so honored, oh my gosh. And he bought that for 45 minutes. And that's how we kept him at bay. Anyways, put up your hand if you'd like to make $1 million right here at home in 90 minutes. Yeah, okay, good. So how do I do it? I communicate well. And I'm going to give you examples of how I communicate well. I'm sure you have examples of how you communicate well and poorly. You probably have examples where you said something to somebody and they loved it and they bought from you, or they did what you wanted, or they married you, or whatever. Whatever it is that you were selling.